Welcome to Online Drawing 4, Lesson 6. Today we're going to be looking at opaque white objects and drawing them with pastel pencils and chunks on a black pastel paper. And we're going to be using both pressure and also layering in order to go from a contour line drawing to a value study. It's kind of a reverse value study because we're going to be using white in various degrees of dark and light. So here's my little value chart, and I'm going to be eventually, I'll make these bigger, getting to 5 layers of white and show that pushing down really hard over here and then tapping off the dust, smoothing it, and then pushing down again will make the brightest white. Then I will try an even texture with a little bit of the black coming through. For the next amount of white, not very much pressure at all to get a middle tone. So this is light, this is dark, this is middle tone, this is light middle tone gray, and this is going to be dark middle tone gray, where only a very small amount of pressure. I might smudge it, but mostly black comes through. Okay, so that's the goal. So if you have a little bit of extra at the end of your piece of pastel paper, you can tear off about 1 inch or 1.5 inches, and you can make a value range if you'd like to, or just do it on the bottom and cut it off later. Okay, so what I'm going to start with today is the cube, because the cube is the largest object in my still life. And the trick is to make sure that you see the right amount of side and top. And you see much more side than you do top. So I'm going to play around with that angle, trying to see. I see more of this side, which means that this is closer to a straight line. This is more acute. You may have to fiddle with it until you're pretty sure that it looks like a cube. Really, what you really have to remember if you're working with something that's square like this is that these two lines will eventually cross each other on the horizon line. These two lines will eventually cross each other on the horizon line. They're getting closer together, not farther apart. Similarly, this line will also eventually cross. So it's wider here, and it gets gradually narrower. And then it's wider here, and gets gradually narrower. And again, this is my wide side. And this is my, is that right? No, this is my narrow side, and this is my wide side. So when I'm done, it should reflect what I see, which is the width to the left doing my measurement here. Is wider than my width to the right by just a hair. Now I realize I'm going to make my cube a little taller. One of the things about drawing something that is clearly in perspective is that the more objects you put in, the more visual information that you have. So when I realized that I didn't have enough corner and I needed more space on the front and back, I started shifting my lines because of the negative space around my cup. The objects will tell you if you've made a mistake. I have a lighter foreground and it goes a little bit darker as it gets back. That's going to help me with my cast shadows. I also use my kneaded eraser if I've got extra dust, which happens here and here. Sometimes if something is symmetrical, it helps if you turn it upside down. So here I'm going to stop and give you a chance to work on yours, but I think it's important to point out that there are a variety of different surfaces here. Some of them you see the actual grain of the paper. Some of them have been smoothed. Some of them have gone in one direction, and some have been erased all but the finest amount. So what we're seeing here is a variety of different values of white that will help you create a value study of some solid white objects. So have fun.